Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, guys, there's breaking news that is just happening as we speak. The crux of this live stream was going to be what's been happening in Crete with the mass shooting overnight. But I've just had this flash up, guys, as of 6 minutes ago. Breaking news, there's been a mass stabbing in Huntingdon. Now, I am going to change tack. And we're going to focus on what's happening in Huntingdon, guys. Okay, so that's what we're talking about today. We are going to be looking at what's been happening in Crete as well, guys. We're looking at how these security situations are expanding now to things that I didn't even consider. So I'm going to give you guys the summary, what I'm getting from the BBC right now, guys. I'm reading this for the first time. This is 10 minutes ago, guys. This is relatively new. I didn't get this. I'm literally getting this for the first time now, guys. Okay. So 10 people are in hospital. 9 are believed to have life-threatening injuries after a stabbing on board a Doncaster to London King's Cross train on Saturday. Police are due to give an update outside Huntingdon Station, where the train was diverted and remains parked at a platform. 2 people have been arrested. Oh, Jesus Christ. 2 people have been arrested. British Transport Police say counter-terrorism officers are supporting the investigation. Here's everything we know so far. So, guys, listen, let me read through this. I'm genuinely reading this for the first time. An eyewitness tells the BBC they saw a man with bloodied arm fleeing down a carriage, yelling, "They've got a knife." Another witness says police tasered a man on a platform. So here we have the situation where they're on a moving train. Again, look, guys, these terror attacks, they are only limited by a people's imagination. So look, I don't know if this is a terror attack, guys. And let me caveat this. I guess I jumped to the gun. I've got to be very careful what I'm saying there. Oh, the Prime Minister's talked about it, actually. The Prime Minister has said it's deeply concerning. I'm going to assume the Prime Minister will give a speech later on today saying he's deeply concerned about the scenes on the train. These things will not divide our communities. Diversity is our strength. Britain is a tolerant nation and we must stand together. So that's, I'm going to say that's what the Prime Minister is going to say later. So don't bother listening to the Prime Minister's speech. Guys, I am trying to get this information here at the first time. Around 12, hang on. I'm just trying to jump down, guys, because it does look like this happened late last night, but I'm only hearing about this now for the first time. An extremely worrying time for families of those people injured. Train was travelling from Doncaster, London, King's Cross, and stopped at Cambridgeshire. A lot of places have been named as in reporting this attack. A lot of places have been named in the reporting of this attack. Let's break it down. When the news initially broke of the stabbing attack late on Saturday night, police said it had taken place in Huntingdon, Cambridgeshire. We later learned that the train itself was a 6:25 service from Doncaster to London's King's Cross. Some passengers said that the attack started to unfold shortly after the train left Peterborough, also in Cambridgeshire, a scheduled stop. Look, stop. Look, ladies and gentlemen, guys, look, nowhere is safe right now. I promise you, nowhere is safe. When you think about an attack on a train, if you're a bad guy, what a perfect place to do an attack on a train. Like, that train is moving. You've got those people isolated in that carriage. If you're there going stabby, stabby, rammy, rammy, with whatever, with whatever, I've got to be very careful what I'm saying, guys, okay? Because I don't want to get the live stream banned or taken down. So you've got all those people, and guys, look, I'm giving you guys live, real-time speculation. Some of the things I say may be slightly off, they may be slightly wrong. I'm reading this for the first time, ladies and gentlemen. So look, guys, if you're joining for the first time, we're talking about the mass stabbing. They're calling it the mass stabbing the mass train stabbing. They're calling it the Huntingdon stabbing. Information still coming out. A lot of information is still coming out. There was also an incident last night in Crete. Mass incident there involving firearms and I believe an improvised explosive device. nowhere is safe, guys. You know, and right now, people need to really buckle down and just understand that the United Kingdom is not safe. The world is not safe. And it's all well and good. It's absolutely fine, you know, if you want to think, oh, but the odds of that happening are slim, absolutely fine. You know, don't come crying to me when something bad happens. So if you're on, ladies and gentlemen, can you please do me a real big favor? Like, comment, subscribe, share, bell notifications. We are only double streaming today, guys. We are on YouTube and we are on X. We're on YouTube and we're on X, guys. That's what we're going to be streaming on. I'm not going to be streaming on TikTok for a while. So what do we know then so far, ladies and gentlemen? So we've got 2 incidents I'm trying to report on at the moment. We've got the incident, the Huntingdon, the train attack in Huntingdon. Now, I don't think they can call it a terror attack yet because they don't know the motives. They don't know why, but it does look like this fits the method of operating for one of the, you know, for a terrorist. And look, guys, I think later on today, I need to do, right, guys, later on this afternoon, when I jump back on the live stream this afternoon, I'm going to give you guys how you guys need to react in the, you know, the ever more likely event that you are caught in a terror attack, because these things are happening more and more now. You know, stabby, stabby, rammy, rammy, crazy, crazy. And of course, you know, these things are one-off incidents that just happen every day. You know, the government are going to come out, no doubt, later on and say these things will not divide our communities. Britain is a country built on tolerance and unity. Well, do you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I'm sick of I don't want to be tolerant anymore. Is it okay? Can I vote not to be tolerant? Would that make me intolerant if I was? You know, if you're right, guys. What do you want to do? Do you want to have stabby, or do you want to be intolerant? I would go with intolerant. You know, when your kids are, you know, when you're scared that your kids are going out Halloween in trick-or-treating, does that make you a bad person, or is that just a new world we're living in right now, ladies and gentlemen? Guys, listen, so I am going to give you guys live updates on what's been happening on the, they're calling it a Huntingdon stabbing. They're calling it the police are giving an update after in Huntingdon after 10 people stabbed on train. As I'm understanding it now, this actually happened just outside Peterborough. And again, you know, you've got to, when you're a bad guy, if you're a bad guy and you're planning an attack on the United Kingdom or any country that does not have a legal frame. Look, guys, if you're on right now, can you put this in the chat? If you're on the chat right now, guys, can you just answer this? What legal framework do we have in the United Kingdom to oppose a tyrannical government? Put it in the chat, guys. And, you know, if anybody, you know, we don't have anything, ladies and gentlemen. We have no legal framework to oppose the government. So we are going to be talking about that, guys. I've got another live update coming in now. Kemi Badenoch is saying political conversation needed about violent crime. Look, we've had violent crime in the United Kingdom for a long time. What we are doing now is importing criminals into the United Kingdom. Why am I saying that? Well, if you've been following my live stream, if you've liked, followed, comment, and subscribed, months ago, maybe last year or something, I was giving you the speculation. I was saying, look, if you're a criminal in a foreign country, I don't know, insert foreign country, wherever, are you, and you've done a really bad crime, you've done something really bad, are you going to A, stay in that country, get arrested and go to jail, or B, chuck your passport and come to the United Kingdom, get put in a 4-star hotel, 3 meals a day, and just have a nice time? And even if you do get convicted of a crime, like you see Madapasa, you know, even if you do get convicted of a crime, you go into another place where they give you, you know, where they give you a bed, a roof over your head, and 3 meals a day. So, like, where is the incentive, like, not to come to the United Kingdom, and where is the incentive not to commit crime? We work on a high trust society. That's how society works, guys. It has to work on high trust. I'm not going to go and commit any crimes. Therefore, people know that in my neighborhood, everybody's safe. As soon as you get people in those neighborhoods who don't care about committing crime, who've got no intention of working, who've got no intention of paying taxes, who just, gimme a man after midnight, you know, those people are going to bring your society down because trust goes. Trust is eroded. Right now, guys, we are in crisis in the United Kingdom. I was speaking about this last night, guys. I was speaking about this last night on the, you know what, actually? So look, guys, and I'm getting this. I'm getting this in real time, guys. Okay, as I understand it, there was two people. There was two attackers on this train last night, or early hours of this morning, whenever it was. So two attackers last night on the live stream, guys. If you was on the live stream last night, please put it in the comments. Please put it in the comments. Like if you remember me saying this last night, we was talking about the guy who was Wayne Broadhurst. I was saying, look, how are people going to react to when there's one person? What if there's two people in an enclosure? I said that last night on the live stream, ladies and gentlemen, and then less than 24 hours after I said something, it actually happened. And look, guys, it's crazy right now. We are just, this is not over. This is just the beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, I promise you, you have seen nothing yet. I've lived in the Middle East for a long time, guys. I've spent 5 years I lived in Baghdad for 5 years. I've spent time in Syria. I've spent time in 2 years in Afghanistan. I've spent quite a lot of time in the Middle East. Anybody who claims that they understand the Middle East do not understand the Middle East. What I do understand of the Middle East is it's like the Wild West, guys, okay? You just can't reason with some people. You can't negotiate with some people. They don't want anything logical. So we do have that incident going on at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Also, I'm going to switch file quickly. This was going to be the crux of this live stream this morning. There was an incident last night in Crete. A 56-year-old woman was one of the two people shot dead during a dramatic gunfight in a mountain village in Crete that police believe to be linked to a family vendetta. Suspects armed with AK-47 assault rifles, shotguns, carried their assault in Voriza, 32 miles southwest of the island capital, shortly after 11 a.m. on Saturday. So the new dynamic now that we're facing is these family feuds. Now, if you've got, we have a lot of beautiful migrants in the United Kingdom. I welcome each and every one, guys. I welcome all these migrants coming to the United Kingdom. I think we should have more migration. Let's open the floodgates. What I'm saying here is Pakistan and Afghanistan are about to have a war. India and Pakistan, they don't like each other. So just on that very short, just three countries there, we have got huge communities here in the United Kingdom. And one thing that I just totally, I've not really considered it because I do apologize for not giving you guys this as a consideration. But now we've got to consider the added threat of getting caught in the crossfire between, for example, armed groups of Pakistanis and armed groups of Afghanis. And let's not pretend that these people are not on our streets, guys. Let's not pretend. The reality is we do not know. And I'll say what I said before, guys, okay? If you're a foreign criminal facing prison, or even worse, in your home country, what are you going to do? You're going to stay there, or you're going to get on a boat and come over to the United Kingdom and have three beautiful meals a day. 3 beautiful meals a day, guys. Get your heating on full, and then you can continue your skullduggery in whatever hotel you're on. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to jump onto the chat. Let me just give you guys, see if there's any updates on this. Yeah, this situation is developing, guys. I'm going to give you guys the breaking news, okay? 10 people are in hospital. 9 have life-threatening injuries after a stabbing attack on board a Doncaster to London King's Cross train last night. Now, as I understand, there were two people with the things. There were 2 people. So I'm trying to get the updates on that. Right, I'll jump onto the chat, guys, and then I'll jump back onto that. Good evening, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, look, guys, and I will just say this before we get on. You're not safe in the United Kingdom anymore. You're really not. Later on tonight, 8 o'clock, I will be on the live stream and I will be giving you guys advice. My advice, what I would give if I was giving this a presentation and I was telling people who are coming to the United Kingdom, I said, listen, the United Kingdom is not a safe place. I'm going to give you guys a heat course. So that would be... what is it? Heat. Hostile environment awareness training. I'm going to give you that, guys, for free. That's like a 1,200 quid course. I'm going to give you that tonight for free at 8. Right. I'm going to jump down to the bottom of the chat, guys, because there's quite a few on. Templar Matt is saying most people put their arms up to stop an attack, so I think we need to start wearing stab-proof gloves. Yeah, look, somebody was asking me last night about stab-proof vests, you know. Hang on a minute. Leroyd Footlong is saying, unsubscribing if you want more migration. I was being sarcastic. Sorry, Templar Matt is saying, listen, guys, I do not want more migration at all. I think everybody, I think if you're in the United Kingdom right now, if it was up to me, if you are dual nationality, you know, if you're dual nationality, so for example, if you consider yourself as Pakistani British, Somalian British, anything, like right now, I would say, no, you're gone. You're gone. If you don't speak English, you know, I think that is a must, because right now, guys, we are in a crisis. We are in an absolute crisis. Templar Matt is saying most people put their arms out to stop an attack. So I think we need to start wearing stab-proof gloves. But that's where we're going, guys. You know, this is where we're going. And no doubt the government will probably say, we'll probably invest in the government. Look, guys, the government are probably, rather than deal with the problem, the government are probably going to invest now millions on security outside hotels. Guys, honestly, when it comes out who these people are, and I'm not going to speculate who they are, but you can probably guess who they are, right? Listen, guys, I'm going to tell you, do you know what? I am going to speculate. I think it's the Norwegian fishermen. Look, guys, I'm going to put my hands up. I'm going to put myself out there. I am going to say that I think this is a couple of Norwegian fishermen. You know, they're really angry Norwegian fishermen. Please, Sean, don't tell people to run, hide. We need to learn how to get him. No, guys, honestly, look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you guys now, we don't have a legal framework where we can protect ourselves. And honestly, if people start legally, I mean, you've all seen the guy, right, who chokes out, and there's a black guy, and I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I think the black guy is trying to attack someone, and this guy, a white guy, chokes him out. That white guy is now going through the legal system, and it looks like he may be getting done. So it's unbelievable where we are, guys. We need legal framework, guys, okay? We need a legal framework where we can protect ourselves. People need to start carrying stuff. In America, I've got lots of friends in Texas, I've got lots of friends in Texas, and they're saying the crime rate is really low because people are allowed to carry things. People are allowed to be armed in Texas. So imagine this scene, guys, right now, imagine this scene on this Doncaster train, all right? So you've got this train from Doncaster to, Doncaster to London, all right? Somebody goes stabby on that train, all right? Imagine if that was in Texas, where a lot of people on that train are armed. What's going to happen to those people who are going instantly within a couple of seconds? Somebody's going to draw down on those guys and send them to meet their maker. Here in the United Kingdom, you've got to phone the police. Phone the police. 999. Hello, yeah, there's an attack on a train. Can you see the attack? No, but I can see people running and screaming. Oh, well, if you can't see the attack, you've got to phone 101. Right, okay, 101. Oh, it's not answering. It's engaged. You say send an email. Right, send an email. It's insane. It's insane. We need legal framework to protect ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. We need legal framework to protect ourselves. We have nothing. And that's the reality, guys, okay? That is the reality. Lincolnshire Templar saying, press right, guys. Let me jump over here and I'll try and share this with you. Lincoln Templar, what platform are you watching that on, Lincolnshire Templar? And I will share it with you guys. No, let me try and find X. Oh, so we've got some images, guys. I've got an image. I've got an image. Oh no, that's not him. No, sorry, guys. That's the late. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Eyewitness. So an eyewitness on board tonight's train stabbing near Huntingdon describes the attacker as a black male in all black clothing who was tasered by the police. And I'm not, guys. I'm not. Look, I'm just. Armed officers were seen running along the platform at Huntingdon Station towards train carriages after multiple people were stabbed. So an eyewitness, look, guys, I'm just repeating this. An eyewitness has described the attacker. So, okay, so my initial reports, guys, must have been wrong. My initial reports were that there were two people. And again, this may be wrong, guys. I'm getting you guys this information in real time. So there's an eyewitness, and he said that the describes the attacker as a black male in all black clothing, who was tasered by police. Let me try and get the latest. Right. Right. Just trying to get the latest on this, guys, and see if I can get the live update for you guys. Wow. Sorry, guys. I'm just going through on X and looking at this. I caught this. I've caught this on the first time, guys. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, the breaking news of the day, and I'm trying to give you guys these updates as they come in. There has been a mass stabbing on a train from Doncaster to London. The police are about to give an interview a press release outside Huntingdon Station. Eyewitness reports are saying that So listen, guys, I'll be quite clear with you now. I don't know whether this is from, I don't know whether there's one attacker or two attackers. An eyewitness said that he saw a black man dressed in black who was tased by the police. I have heard lots of, like, a few other people have said there were two attackers. I don't know, guys. I'm getting this in real time. I'm getting this in real time. Hang on, let me try and find Sky News. Right, there we are. Right. What platform? Sky News, guys? Let me try Sky News YouTube. Right. Right, we're on, but there's no volume for some reason. Right, guys, I'm on the Sky News now. As soon as something comes on Sky News, in fact, let me put that to a different screen. Right, as soon as they start talking on... right, guys, so I've got the live Huntingdon. As soon as they start streaming, as soon as the police start coming and doing an update, I will give you guys that. I'll give you guys that. So, look, ladies and gentlemen, if you were on the live stream last night, and I don't mean to, last night I was on the live stream and I was saying, that this threat is real. This threat is real of multiple attackers. Now, I don't know if this was multiple attackers. I'm getting different reports. I'm getting, we don't know anything yet because the police have not given an official statement. I've got the Huntingdon live on here, guys, on Sky News. Police are due to give an update shortly on the stabbing. As soon as that comes on, guys, I will share that with you. Am I current? Let me see if I'm current. Yes, and I am current, guys. I'm running on the right time frame. So later on this evening, guys, I'm going to come back and I'll do a live stream and I'll tell you guys how to react if you guys find yourself in that situation. I'll tell you now real quick, guys. It's run, hide, fight, all right? That's what you need to do. Do not try and attack. Do not try and take these people down, to fight these people. Like, it's not going to end well. It's not going to end well. You don't have that legal framework to protect yourself. At what point do you decide you're going to do that attack? What if he's just, what if he's one of these YouTubers and he's just doing a prank? Oh, I'm just doing a prank. It's just a prank. Ladies and gentlemen, you are not, if you live in the United Kingdom right now, you are not safe. And that is, that's the, unfortunately, that is the cold reality. Linda's saying, what nun? Where was what nun? What are we talking about, nun? What? A nun? I don't know what that means, guys. Listen, guys, I'm going to jump quickly while we're waiting for this police, while we're waiting for this police update. I want to jump over quickly and talk about what happened in, what was happening in Crete. So last night there was an incident in Crete between, as I understand it, a family vendetta. Now, I can only assume this is like a criminal network or something. It doesn't really matter what the framing solution was. But a 53-year-old woman was one of the two people shot dead during a dramatic gunfight in a mountain village in Crete that police believed is linked to a family vendetta. Suspects are with AK-7 assault rifles and shotguns carried out their assaults in Voriza, 32 miles southwest of the island's capital. So this was quite, as I'm understanding it, there was quite a big gunfight here between like two families. I can only speculate that this is, this was criminal gang crime related. But what I'm getting at here is right now in the United Kingdom, we have huge communities that, from foreign countries who live here in the United Kingdom. Like, you can go to places in the United Kingdom and they don't speak English. Really, you can. You can go to places in the United Kingdom and they don't speak English. And this is another aspect that I kind of it wasn't even on my radar, that how much of a threat this actually is, until I saw this article last night and I was like, wow. So not only do we have to worry now in the United Kingdom about people going stabby, rammy, trainy stabby, what we've got to worry about now is rival foreign gangs that are operating in the United Kingdom. There was an incident, I think it was in Sheffield. Like, it might be last year or the year before. A man tried to help a woman. I think she'd been hit by a car, and the man who'd hit her with the car hit the man with the car and killed him. So you're thinking, so now you've got this added complexity of, we're not just, people who live in the United Kingdom, we're not just getting attacked ourselves. We are now likely to be caught in the crossfire between, these rival gangs, for example, Pakistani gangs fighting Afghani gangs in the United Kingdom. We saw it in Leicester in, what year was it in Leicester? Somebody help me out who lives in Leicester. Leicester 2023. There was it Pakistan versus India, a cricket game? And after that cricket game, there was just mass fighting between the Pakistani and Indian communities in the United Kingdom, in Leicester. These are the real things that are happening now, guys, in the United Kingdom. And I'm saying this to everyone, guys. You're not safe. You are not safe. What I'm also saying is you have seen nothing yet, ladies and gentlemen. This thing, if you think things are bad now, you don't understand the Middle East. And I don't understand the Middle East, but I understand it more than most. And we are not ready because the government are not ready, because they're not smart enough. The government in the United Kingdom are trying to, the government in the United Kingdom are trying to, oh, hang on a minute, guys. Hang on. Hang on. Sorry, somebody just came up to the microphone then. Listen, guys, I've got the police are due to give an update shortly on the train stabbing. I'm looking at it here live, guys. As soon as this comes on, guys, I will switch over to that and I'll share the screen with you guys. David W. is saying a lot of these illegal immigrants, where they come from, would be conscripted for 3 years in their own army, where they come for. Yeah, do you know what that's, I think I mentioned this on a live stream previously. A lot of these places where these migrants are coming from, they have mandatory conscription. So they will have some military training. Like, guys, listen, let's just be clear. Let's just be fair. I'm asking you, guys, like, how many of you guys know how to use an AK-47? How many of you guys know how to use an AK-74? Like, how many of you guys, like, I would speculate not many, because why would you? Literally, why would you? And again, when we talk about the migrants coming over from foreign countries, look, guys, I've said this so many times. When they're coming over, how difficult do you guys think it would be if those migrants or whoever's coming over on those, whoever's coming over on those rubber boats, how difficult do you guys think it would be to just throw a waterproof bag in the water, and fill that waterproof bag with contraband? And look, guys, I do think we're gonna see drone strikes. Oh, hang on. Guys, hang on. Let me share this screen with you now, guys. I think we've got to put, hang on. If the police come on, guys. Okay, he's not. So the police, statement was due to begin at 10. Just there, it's Brian, Superintendent or whatever his name, John Lovelace. As soon as he jumps on, guys, I will share that screen with you so we can watch that together. It's not on yet, guys. The police has not come on yet, guys. Okay. Guys, the chat's gone crazy today, guys. Okay, so I do apologize if I'm not if I miss anyone's message. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, the breaking news of the day: police are due to give an update on the Huntingdon stabbing after 10 people injured in a train stabbing. This is a new dynamic now, guys. This is a new dynamic. When you're on those train carriages, think about it. Look, nowhere is safe now. When you're on a train carriage, you're looking at your phone, you're minding your own business. And a lot of this, I think a lot of this does come down to awareness. A lot of this comes down to awareness. If we think about Irina Zarutska, the Ukrainian girl who was guys, if you've seen that footage, like, you wish you hadn't. It's kind of one of those things you just wish you hadn't watched. Now, the reason I'm saying this is an eyewitness to this incident said that he saw a man who he would describe as a black man dressed in black. That he was saying he was a suspect, and he was tasered by police. Does that not resemble those people walking through Tower Hamlets? Is that not like the new uniform now, guys? Do you see where we're going with this? This is like the new uniform. This is the new uniform of like these, these people. What do we think, guys? Do we think, and look, guys, I'm not speculating. Do we think this is going to be a boat migrant? Do we think, what do we think? Do we think this is going to be a boat migrant? Do you think he's going to be fleeing war and persecution? I don't know. I don't know, guys. I'm looking at what's happened previously. I'm looking at the type of attack this is, and I'm saying, right, okay, might not be the Norwegian fisherman. Large police presence remains at Huntingdon train station. There's still a large police presence here at Huntingdon as investigations continue. Forensics officers in white overalls are working in the car park on the platform at Huntingdon station, where we would usually see a steady stream of passengers. The train where the attack took place is still at the platform, but I've seen others pass through the station this morning as services on the network resume. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Look, guys, I will keep saying this. Nowhere, you're not safe in the United Kingdom anymore. And people really need to accept that. Like, you can't accept anymore. Like, we don't live in that world. We don't live in that country anymore in the United Kingdom. We do not live in a safe country anymore. We don't live a place where you can say to your kids, okay, go walk to the shop on your own. It's too dangerous now. Oh, do you know what? Yeah, go to the soup, go out to the pictures on your own. You can't do that. Hang on, guys. There's a live update coming through. Media gathered for police. Yeah, it's nothing. It's just saying the media's. Oh, that's weird. I'm getting a different aspect. The media gathering, guys. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are waiting for this live update by the police. I've got this on the other screen. As soon as that live update starts, I will share that screen with you guys and we'll watch that together. What a wild time to be alive, guys. Honestly, like, I don't think people understand. I'm just going to put that up. I'm not going to repeat it. I'm just going to put that up in there. I'm just going to put that up. Listen, guys, we don't live in a safe country anymore. These things are happening time and time again. Like, the other day we saw, the fight in, the fight that broke out in, go on. So not last night. So I think Friday night there was a fight broke out in Manchester. Now that fight that broke out in Manchester, that was predominant what I could see anyway, and I don't know the context behind it, but I would say that fight that broke out yesterday in Friday night, in Manchester, that fight was predominantly between people I would class as liberals and people I would class as Muslims. That's where I see that fight going. And isn't it funny? Literally, the day before that, I said to you guys, I said, look, the first real casualties here, the first big casualties are going to... Oh, hang on. No. The first big casualties between when this happens, when this erupts, the first big casualties are going to be those liberals. You know the liberals I'm talking about, right? Like, if you've watched the, if you guys have watched the, I think the police are coming, guys. Give me a second. Right, it does look like the police have turned up, so we could be having the statement any minute now, guys. Okay, if that statement from the police does happen, I'm going to jump over, guys, and I will get. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, if the police statement starts, guys, I will stop. I will jump over and I will share this screen. Yeah, it does look like officers are getting out of the car. Right, it does look like the officers are making their way down to the stand. They may not be as well, but that's what it looks like now. If it's not the speech, guys, I'm not going to leave it. But so you've seen the march through Tower Hamlets, right? And you've seen the little liberal on his little microphone saying, "No need for that, mate. We're all on the same team." And then the guy goes, "No, we're not. No, we're not. I promise you guys, they are going to be the first casualties." And I mean real big casualties, like the likes that we've never witnessed here in the United Kingdom. The likes we've never seen in the United Kingdom. But the initial phase of that, the liberals won't take that as because if you're a liberal, you believe things, so you believe what you've been told and you believe your education system. You're like, no, this can't be. This is a one-off incident. Those people must have done something wrong. But unfortunately, guys, we are too far gone now. We have gone past saturation point. I would say saturation point was like saturation point was before 2016. So if you are if you're gonna commit an attack on a country, and I spoke about this yesterday, guys. Okay, I'm gonna give you some military tactics now. If you're attacking, if you're attacking, if you're attacking a built-up area, if you're attacking a, if you're attacking a, if you're attacking a town, for example, your initial phase is your investment phase, and you need to get all your men into that town. Because if you start the attack before all your men are in that town, then the bad guy, the opposing force can cut you off from your main force. So you need to get that investment phase done. And that's where I think the United Kingdom is right now. We're in the investment phase. So why would you start the attack if you're the bad guys? Why would you start that attack with 1 million men in that country when you can just keep waiting, and then you've got 2 million men in that country? Then you've got 3 million men in that country. So why would you start the attack before you've got overwhelming numbers? And right now, guys, listen, can you imagine? Guys, listen, can you imagine if it was Britain 1940, and all these Germans kept coming over in these boats, and we keep putting them up in hotels. We keep putting them up in hotels, and the more Germans keep coming, and these Germans keep coming, and we're bankrupting ourselves to put these Germans up in these hotels, and then all of a sudden, all these Germans just rise up and start doing asymmetric warfare, setting fire to substations, destroying water pumping stations, just destroying everything they can. You don't need these weapons of war anymore, guys, to be a combatant. You don't need these weapons of war anymore, guys, to be a combatant. You can do a lot with petrol, wood. You can do a lot. Oh, hang on, guys. There's a guy with a, right, I think he's here. Right, guys, he's walking down. Give me a second. Right, we've got the guy walking down. It's going to be momentarily, guys. This speech is going to happen momentarily. I can see the guy walking down. There's a lot of police present. Listen, guys, if you are on now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're on now, can you please like, follow, subscribe, share my stuff? Right, guys, he's right, he's on. Let me share the screen. Right, guys, I don't know what's happened there. I don't know what's happened there. Guys, every time I try and share this screen with you guys, it just freezes out. So I'm just going to play the audio in the background, but it does look like both of these people were born in the United Kingdom. Okay, listen, guys. So what we get? Listen, guys. I'm going to give you my my breakdown of what we've just heard. So we've just heard that it was two people. So when I initially said it was two people, then I thought it was one person. So it does look like the police are saying now that it's two people. So there are two attackers. So this has been a complicated terror attack. Guys, how many times have I said that's coming? Ladies and gentlemen, listen, guys, if you are on the live stream right now and you've not done so already, I've been warning about this stuff, complicated terror attacks, multiple terror attacks. The government then came out a few months later and they said what they're calling this is a marauding terror attack. So look, guys, that's what it looks like there, guys, okay? Looks like this is a complicated terror attack. Sorry, not a terror attack. A complicated attack. Now, look, for this to be a terrorist attack, those people have to be aligned with a political party or group. That's the reality, guys. And do you know what? This is actually more terrifying. Do you know why this is more terrifying? Because if it's not a terror, have you considered this, guys? Have you considered this? Why this is more terrifying that this is not a terror attack? This means that these people are not aligned to a group. They're not being controlled. It's just two guys. Hey, mate. Yes, what's up? Do you fancy going stabby? What day? Wednesday. I'm busy Wednesday. It's Taco Wednesday, whatever. Oh, what about Saturday night? Yeah, I'll go stabby. And they just do it. They're not aligned to anyone. Do you understand how that's more terrifying, guys? Do you really understand how this is more terrifying, that they're not part of a terror network? And you know what, guys? When these people are going stabby, rammy, do you know what, guys? It's not going to matter whether it's a terrorist, whether it's state-sponsored. What's going to matter is how we stop this happening. Now, if these guys are not related to any terrorist networks, that is a lot, that's a lot worse. That is a lot worse, guys. Look, none of them are good. But if they're affiliated with a terror network, then that terror network can be closed down. Believe me, guys, I used to do it for a long time. You can close these terror networks down. You can find them. You can find the ringleaders. You either bribe them off or put your own guy in charge. That's what the security force. That's what the security services do. So that is the reality of the situation we are in at the moment. I've been warning about these coming for such a long time, guys. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you are on, can you do me a real big favor now? Can you make sure you like, follow, share, subscribe, share my stuff, guys? Later on this evening, I'm going to be back on, and on the live stream later on, I'm going to be talking about what to do if you find yourself in that scenario where these people are going stabby, rammy, or shooty. Again, look, guys, if you was on the live stream last night, I literally said this last night. I don't know if I know I didn't say a train, but what I said on the live stream last night is, how are people going to react if there's two people? What if there's multiple people going stabby? Like, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? I don't think people, when the police make these statements, one of the things they're trying to do is the police are trying to calm people down, because what the police don't want is the police don't want people coming out on the streets and going crazy and rioting. And look, that's where we are right now, ladies and gentlemen. Be under no illusion, be under absolute no illusion where we are in the United Kingdom. And not only that, this is a multi-pronged, multifaceted, multi-dimensional strike. Because right now, there will be people, near peer adversaries, potentially in Iran, potentially in Russia, but anywhere that, you know, maybe even in the United Kingdom, you know, and they will have bot farms. And in those bot farms, they will have, say, 100 people, and they will split down the middle. They'll be, right, you lot fan pro-migration, anti-racism, fan the flames of that in the United Kingdom. And you guys, I want you guys to fan the far-right flames. You know, they'll be making stuff up. They'll be making memes. They'll be sharing it. They'll be doing these poignant little videos. And then they'll be just, honestly, guys, it's like you get bombarded with this stuff. And it's all for the same means, ladies and gentlemen. All this stuff, you know, all this stuff's related, guys. It's all related. This is going to lead to a global conflict on an industrial scale. If you was a near-peer adversary, like we were just talking about then, guys, actually, you know, if you're a near-peer adversary and you wanted to attack a country, are you going to send in your soldiers and all the missiles coming over, or are you just going to flood them with migrants? And I know these are not migrants, guys. You know, I know these are not migrants. These two gentlemen, as I understand it, were born in the United Kingdom. You know, that's what we're talking about, guys. Okay. So I need to separate these two things. The incident today on the Huntingdon attack, the Huntingdon train attack, the police are saying that the police are claiming that these two men were born in Britain. So they're British citizens. They're as British as me and you. They're as British as me. They can trace their lineage back to the 11th century like you can mine. So, but what I'm talking about is if you're going to attack a country, it makes no sense anymore to send your soldiers when you can just send millions of migrants and get that country to pay for their own demise. But anyway, guys, jumping back onto this, let's give you guys an update. I'm going to give you guys an update now. Let me just refresh this screen because there has been a few updates while I've been talking. So, 2 British men arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. There's 2 British men. So it's 2 British men. Superintendent John Lovelace says armed officers boarded the train and arrested 2 people within 8 minutes of the 999 call. That is good. That is honestly, like, and look, guys, I mean, to be fair, that is phenomenal. 8 minutes after the 999, if that's true, I don't know if it's true. If that call went in and 8 minutes later, to me, it says 2 things. 1, the police must have been in and around that area to get there within 8 minutes, armed police. And we have a lot more armed police than I was considering. There are 2 men in police custody. They are a 22-year-old black male and a 35-year-old British national of Caribbean descent. Oh, okay. Well, at least they're not saying, you know, at least they're saying it. So we've got a black man and a man of Caribbean descent. Look, guys, I'm going to bet that these guys have got mental health problems, and you know what? It's actually us that we're the real. They're actually the victims. They have been arrested on suspicion of murder. 2 people remain in life. Guys, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I've got a thing with blood. I can't. I really don't want that stickiness. I honestly, it does something to me. So 10 people were initially taken to hospital, with one more person presenting at hospital later in the evening. So I'm going to assume they got hit and ran off. Of the 9 people believed to have life-threatening injuries, 4 have since been discharged, thank God. 2 people remain in life-threatening condition. At this stage, there is nothing to suggest that this is a terrorist incident. At this stage, it would not be appropriate to speculate on the cause of this incident. That statement there, guys, if you're worried about terrorism, you should be more worried about this. Do you know why? Because if this is not terrorist related, this means that 2 people, and guys, I'm giving you guys real-time speculation now, I may be wrong, but if there is no, what's the word I'm looking for? If there's no reason why these people decided to do it, and they're saying, "Oh, it's not terrorist related. These are not," that's worse. Do you know why? Because that means that 2 people just woke up one morning and thought, "Oh, I'm bored. Let's go stabby." That's literally what it means. If this is a terrorist incident, that means it's being planned. It's got a political aim, a political goal, and somebody's planned it, and they're saying, right, go and do that. They're being controlled. If this is not controlled, that means there's no network. And if there's no network, how do the police, like, if you're in, guys, I've done this, like, I've done lots of this, believe me. You go after these networks. You go after the command and control structure. So you take out the leaders. You keep taking out the leader, nobody else wants to lead. You take out the good leader, you get a less good leader. You take out that leader, you get a really bad leader. And then once you take that guy out, you can put your own guy in. Once you put your own guy in, you control that network. That's how it works. That is literally how it works. Then you promote that leader. You know, you do fit. Sorry, I'm going off on some subversion for you guys. So that's how these things work, guys. Okay, but if there is no leadership, if there's no command chain, if there's nobody sat at the top saying, go stabby on a train, that means that this is random. That means that this could happen anywhere to anyone at any time without any warning. So when people are saying that it is terrorism, it's a lot more terrifying if it is not terrifying. It's a lot more terrifying if this is not terrorism. So, ladies and gentlemen, the crux of this live stream is the Huntingdon train attack. What we know so far, this was 2 British men, one of a black man, and look, guys, I'm just going to read this off the BBC. I'm going to read this off I'm going to share this with you actually, because I don't want to, I'm literally going to share this with you. Give me a second. How do I share? I hope the last time I shared a screen, it all went funny, guys. So let's see what happens here. So here we have it, guys, from the BBC. This is the live updates. Yeah, where we are. Look, so here we are, guys. They are, so the 2 people, sorry. So the 2 people, there are 2 people in custody. So for those of you guys who were on the live stream earlier on, we thought it was 2 people. Then we thought it was 1 person. It turns out from the police now, there are 2 people in custody. They are a 32-year-old male, black British male. That doesn't make sense. There are a 32-year-old male, black British male, and 35-year-old British national of Caribbean descent. So they're the 2 people there, guys. Take of that what you want. So what we can take from this is nowhere is safe. If you live in the United Kingdom now, like I was saying yesterday, I was on the live stream yesterday, guys, and I was warning of this yesterday. I was warning that, oh, hang on, there's an update coming through. Sorry, guys. Guys, we're getting this in real time. Police quick to identify nationality and race of suspects as misinformation spreads. Police were quick to identify the nationality and race. It's a wild time, guys. It's a wild time. At the time, a post on social media says the suspect was a Muslim immigrant, a claim that was entirely false and triggered riots. So there's been riots about... Oh, no, sorry, guys. It's a non-update. It's a non-update. So last night on the live stream, we was actually talking about this, about multiple knife attackers, how to deal with multiple knife attackers. And then literally the next day, we have a multiple knife attack scenario on a train. Nowhere safe, guys. Literally nowhere is safe. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be on the live stream later on tonight. I'm going to be back on at 8 o'clock tonight. I'm going to be talking about how you guys should react if you're in that scenario. I may even go with the train. These are things that I didn't even consider, you know. And these attacks, you know, are these people are only limited. Hang on. Yeah, these attacks are only limited by imagination. So these people, again, they're saying there's no indication that this was terrorist related, and that should send chills down your spine now. Because if it's not terror related, it means these things could happen more and more. I am going to jump over now, guys, because I am going to jump over to something else that happened, and something else happened last night in Crete, and I know Crete is a long way away, and you know people, you know. So there was a 56-year-old woman was one of the 2 people shot dead during a dramatic gunfight in a mountain village of Crete that police believe is linked to a family vendetta. So last night there was a gunfight in the mountains in Crete. Now, I know that's a long way away, and I know they have different dynamics, but it was something that I'd not considered before. We have a lot of Africans, you know, in the United Kingdom right now. We have a lot of Africans in the United Kingdom. They're here. They've come to the United Kingdom and, you know, whatever. We have a lot of people from the Middle East in the United Kingdom, you know. They've come over to the United Kingdom and, you know, whatever. When those nations are feuding, for example, India and Pakistan, Afghanistan and Pakistan, you know, lots of different African nations don't get on with each other. We now have this new dynamic where people can get caught in the crossfire. So when I've been telling you guys that civil war's coming, it's an inevitable, you know, where I've been talking to you guys saying civil war is inevitable, and then we see these steps and we're moving closer to absolute carnage on our streets. One of the things I've said is it's not going to be a civil war. I've not got the chat on. Sorry, guys. Let me get the chat on. It's not going to be a civil war as such. It's going to be something far more complicated and far more devastating, because now we've got this new dynamic where, for example, a traditional civil war would be us versus them. These guys want A, B, and C. These guys want X, Y, and Z. They have a fight and the winner gets their way. That is like, you know, that is a civil war. What we've got brewing in the United Kingdom now, so many layers of complexities, We've got this. We've got the police. We've got the government. We've got the different factions in government. You know, we've got lots of foreign nationals in government in the United Kingdom. We've got these communities, these different diverse communities that are giving us strength. And when it happens, it's going to be a free for all, guys, because it's not going to be us versus them. It's going to be us versus them, allied with them until they're defeated. Then they're going to turn on us. Then we'll be able to ally with them once they're defeated. And it's just going to be chaos, guys. Absolute chaos. This is 100% leading towards a United States takeover. You know, this is 100% leading to a United States takeover. Absolutely. There's no way that this is not happening now, guys. We are slowly moving into the crisis phase. If you guys think about the 4 phases of ideological subversion, Yuri Bezmenov's 4 phases of ideological subversion, Depending on where you go, they will teach you different things. With the 4 phases, they're pretty easy to understand. You know, the first phase, which has already happened in the United Kingdom, and I would say this started in 1962, would be the demoralization phase. We are demoralized now as a country. We're demoralized as a country. On the most part, I'm not. I'll never get demoralized. I'm awesome. Then you have the destabilization phase, which is what we're in right now. We are in the destabilization phase. Right now, we are being destabilized as a country. We are very close to heading into the crisis phase. And when this happens, ladies and gentlemen, when the crisis phase happens, it's going to happen quick. It's the only way it can happen. It has to happen quick. It will always happen quick. Think about an explosion. That's what's going to happen. Imagine a boiling pot. And I've given this analogy so many times, guys. Imagine a boiling pot. And what Keir Starmer's done, rather than letting a vent out, he just bolted that pot on. You know, and the and the heat is still going. The heat's still going. The pot looks fine. The pot's taking everything. The pot is just, you know, it's under stress. But to look at the pot, oh, it's just the pot. It looks intact. The bigger the pot, the heavier the pot, the tighter the lid is on, the bigger the explosion. And that's the reality. And that's what's happening right now, guys, in the United Kingdom. Things may look like we're a functioning society, but we are not. We are not a functioning society right now, guys. We are not a functioning society at all. Tracy McGibbon is saying, Sean, did you see the statement that Trump put out about Nigeria's president? No, I did not. Let me... Okay. So Donald Trump, I've not seen this, no. So Donald Trump has threatened to go into Nigeria, guns blazing, over attacks on Christians. So I don't know if you guys know this or not, but in Nigeria, there's been a mass attacks by Muslims on Christians. Mass attacks. I would use the word genocide. You know, and it seems like the liberals don't care. Liberals don't care. The liberals are not bothered. You know, the liberals are not bothered what's happening in foreign countries. You know, and it's the liberals really are. I feel liberalism is like a mind virus. You know, they're blind to certain things. You're just absolutely blind to certain things, and then other things they go crackers over. Absolutely crackers. You know, we've had zero outcry from. We've had zero outcry from any liberals in the United Kingdom, any liberals in the West about what's going on in Nigeria. You know, Donald Trump said on Saturday, he said he had ordered the Pentagon to begin planning for a potential military action in Nigeria as he stepped up his criticism of the government. Was failing to rein in the persecution of Christians in the West African country. And Donald Trump, I quote, "If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities." Trump posted on social media. "I am hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attacked our cherished Christians." That's how you need to do a war, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you do a war. You don't do war slow. You don't build a war up slowly by saying, oh, we're going to give you this one day. We're going to do this. We're going to slowly build up. No, wars need to be hard, fast, and violent, guys. That's what wars are. They are violent. You know, you go in hard, you go in fast, and you get the job done. Googlino is saying, Sean, read me comment. Whose comment? Me comment? I don't know. I'm just, guys, there's quite a lot of comments in the chat today. Googlino is saying, remember, even if they are British, we know Muslims are now being hired by ISIS to do these things, just how British people are being hired by Russia. Yeah, look, guys, yeah, again, another one of these aspects. So when we talk about civil war, again, it's usually us versus them. But now it's going to be us versus them versus them versus them, allied with those. But those guys over there are, this foreign country, are paying criminal gangs to do things over there in the name of whatever. So when we're talking about a civil war, civil conflict, they're going to have a new name for it, guys. They really are. Leroy Footlong is saying, the Africans on my building site have a fascination with copper and sleeping in the drying room during work hours. I think sleeping during work hours is, is a fascination of lots of people from certain parts of the world. Templar Matt is saying, if we carry on listening to the government and the police, we will stay in. Templar Matt, I agree. Templar Matt, you are right. If we carry on listening to the government and police, we will stay in danger and more people will get hurt. Absolutely, Matt. Absolutely. We are all adults and don't need telling what to do. Start protecting yourselves and others. So this is the thing, guys, okay? I don't want to go over, I don't want to rehash old rope and keep going over things, but we do not have any legal framework to oppose the government. And ultimately, they're the ones who need opposing right now. Because if the government, imagine this scenario, guys, right? You know what? Actually, I think a train is a good analogy, actually. I think a train's better. Maybe a train's a better analogy. So for those of you guys, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I know I don't say this enough. If you're on right now, can you make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell notification if you guys are on YouTube? I'm telling you what's coming before it happens. I do it all the time, guys. I tell you guys what's coming before it happens. Last night on the live stream last night, I was saying, listen, guys, get ready for multiple knife attackers. And then what happened the next day? Literally multiple knife attackers. Like, I've been talking about all this stuff that's coming, guys, okay? So if you want to be kept informed about what the next thing that's coming is, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the share button, guys, okay? Also, for our members, I'm starting to do members-only videos, guys. So we are doing members-only videos now. I'll be doing at least one members-only video a day. But the analogy I used to give people was, this is how absurd it is living in the United Kingdom. If I used to give the analogy, if you're in a cul-de-sac. So if you're in a cul-de-sac and you see you see a load of people, let's just say there are men. Let's just, let's go with the BBC's description. Let's just say, as the BBC are claiming, that, let's just say you see a 32-year-old black British male and a 35-year-old British national of Caribbean descent get out of a car at number 1 on your street, all right? They go in, there's banging, there's screaming, there's shouting, and then it all goes quiet. And then they go into house number 2. There's banging, there's screaming, there's shouting. They come out and they go into house number 3. And you're at like number 40 or something. And you phone the police. This is what would happen in the UK. You phone the police and the police would say, well, can you see a crime going on? And the police would, and you would say, well, no, I can't see a crime going on, but, that's what's happening, And then the police would say, oh, well, because you can't see a crime, you've got to phone 101. And you're like, what? You've got to phone 101 because you can't see a crime and it's a non-crime incident. So you're like, right, oh, okay. So you phone 101. All right, okay. And like you get, after about 20 minutes of it ringing, it says, send an email, and then it goes dead. And you're like, right, okay. So like, right, what do you do? And then if you did get through to the police, what the police would advise you to do is stay in the house and lock your windows. lock your windows and doors. That's what the police would advise you to do. We are in unprecedented times in the United Kingdom, guys. We really are. Wildly, wildly unprecedented times in the United Kingdom. Our laws and legal system do not facilitate what's coming. Because when our laws were written, nobody could in their wildest dreams envisage where we would be at right now. And look, I think the analogy is actually better. Oh, hang on. Shabina said something. After last night's horrific attack. Hang on. Shabina's just tweeted, guys. Okay. Good old Shabina Mahmood's tweeted. Remember on the live stream earlier what I said they would say? So Shabina has tweeted and she says, after last night's horrific attack, my thoughts are with the victims and their friends and family. My deepest thanks to the British Transport Police, Cambridgeshire Police, Cambridgeshire Fire and Rescue, and the East of England Ambulance Service. They responded rapidly with the utmost professionalism and saved lives. I would also like to pay tribute to the exceptional bravery of staff and passengers on the train. We now know this attack is not being treated as terrorism. She got to get that out of there, didn't she? She got to get that out there for her bros. Is not being treated as terrorism, and that 2 British-born British nationals have been arrested. So it's British-born British. Oh, which is in contrast to what the BBC are reporting. So remember what I just said, guys. The BBC are. This is what the BBC are reporting. They're a 32-year-old black British male and a 35-year-old British national of Caribbean descent. I think those things are conflicting there. I think the BBC and what she's saying are conflicting, but whatever, let's continue. The investigation is ongoing and I'm receiving regular updates from the police. So thank God we've got Shabina. Thank God Shabina's on the case. Shabina's on the case, guys. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if anybody knows where Shabina gets her eyebrows done, my mum needs her eyebrows doing, and she said that she'd like to have Shabina Mahmood eyebrows. Anyway, I just put it in the chat, guys, if you know where she gets her eyebrows done. But yeah, like I was saying, imagine, the scenario I've just given you guys there, where you are on, you're on that cul-de-sac and you're seeing the people come close because we don't have a legal framework in the United Kingdom to protect ourselves. Imagine that's on the train now, that's on the train. And literally it's the same scenario, isn't it? But rather than at the front of a number one in the cul-de-sac, you've got people on a train and they're making their way up the train. Like, what do you do? Band again is saying it's terrorism. I don't think it is, guys. I'll be honest with you. I don't think it is. I don't think this is terrorism, and that should terrify you. That should actually terrify you guys more. It really should. If this is not terrorism, which I don't think it is, what that means is these 2 guys just woke up one morning and said, right, let's go stabby on a trainy. And they weren't ordered to do that by some hierarchical, system. They weren't, they weren't soldiers of anything. They just went and they're just bad people. How many more of these bad people do you think we've got in the country, guys? It's unbelievable. Look, ladies and gentlemen, you are not safe. If you live in the United Kingdom, you are not safe right now. We need to be armed, guys. That's what we like. The people of the UK, we need to be armed. Claire LFC is saying terrorizing the public is terrorism. Guys, look, it's not. Listen, guys, look, guys, I'll be honest with you, right? The definition of terrorism is to I'll get the definition of terrorism up for you guys, and Terrorism is the use or threat of violence to create fear for political, religious, or racial or ideological goals. So, you know, and you have to identify it to that. Guys, I've done a lot of work on this, like at the highest levels in this country. And you know, although it's, you know, it's not, and that's the reality. I know what everybody's saying. You know, I understand what everybody's saying. You know, they're terrorizing people, but that's not the definition of terrorism. Yeah, I think what Lisa Jane's saying there, you know. 2 stabbers, 11 victims. It's not, guys, listen, ladies and gentlemen, look, you're not arguing with me. You're arguing with the definition of terrorism. You're arguing with the definition of a word, all right? I'm telling you what the definition of that joke, of that word is. And I totally get it. You know, people think it, you know, and I totally get it, you know, but for it to be terrorism, those people need to be, you know, they need to have a clear link to a political, religious, racial, or ideological entity. And if you can't prove that, it's not terrorism, guys. It just isn't, all right? And you can argue all you want, but that's the definition. But what I think people are missing the point here. The fact that it isn't terrorism is a lot more terrifying. You know, you know, if it was terrorism, then that means that those people are being controlled, you know. Guys, listen, it doesn't matter what you guys, it's all, if you want to class it as terrorism, that's absolutely fine, but that is not the definition of terrorism. You know, we can change words all we want, you know. Band is saying the official definition is irrelevant. Well, look, guys, I've got to be very careful what I say when I'm streaming, so I will go with the official definitions. But look, guys, I think everybody is missing the point here. You know, I think everybody's missing the point. If this isn't terrorism, it's worse, because that means that these people are just going out, they're going stabby, they're going rammy, just off their own back. You know, just off their own back. Look, guys, I am going to start to close this live stream down now. The crux of this live stream has been... Oh, hang on. Yeah, the crux of this live stream has been that the attack, the train attack on the knife stabbing train attack in Huntingdon. You know, and this is a new security alert, guys. It really is a new security alert. We've now got to consider all the different places that these people could go stabby. Remember, on that train, you're pretty, you know, you've got those people on that train at your mercy. They can't really run off, can they? One at that end, one at that end. That's what they probably did. You know, one at that end, one at that end, and we're just going to go. That's probably what they thought about, you know. You know, you can't imagine how bad this is, guys. Look, it's going to get a lot worse. I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to get a lot worse. If you think things are bad now, wait till the big boys come. Wait till the big boys come, guys, okay? Wait till those big boys come, and then that is going to be a lot worse. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this live stream down now. If you're on and you've not done so already, guys, make sure you hit the like, follow, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification, guys, all those things that help this channel out. Ultimately, it's only your fine... Oh, showing Alan stack bar. Ultimately, guys, it's only your fine fingers that help this channel go. Listen, guys, I will be back on later tonight. Oh, hang on. I'll be back on later tonight at 8, and I'm going to go through how to react if you guys find yourself in one of these situations. Oh, hang on, Mr. Blight, exactly. Yeah, confined spaces are an easy target. Exactly. You know, a train is somewhere I've not even considered. But this is it, guys. Okay, you know, you're only limited by these people are only limited by their imagination now, guys. And you know what we can see. Anybody can go into Asda, Tesco's, you know, or wherever and buy one of those things, you know, and look at the damage you can do. It was only last night I was talking about a multiple attack with these things. Listen, guys, I am going to close this down now. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit that bell notification. If you're a member, I'm going to be doing members videos today, guys. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, just stay safe, stay vigilant, because the United Kingdom is not safe anymore.